fascinated by people talking shit so publicly as to put opinions online. One of my favourites over the years has been very attractive, pretty girl, miniskirt, leathered up to the nines, drumming to Slayer. She was okay when it was a slow part of the song, but it got to the fast part and she shit the bed and couldn't hack it. Not many people could, to be fair. And wall to wall, you're amazing, you're an amazing musician, you tore that song apart. And obviously everybody was speaking with their penises, you know, in their very parasocial way, trying to get her leather knickers off. And I made a comment just saying, yeah, really good up until the fast part, and then you shit the bed and couldn't hack it. Only reason I put it there was just there was this wall-to-wall support. And I think that when people put stuff out there, positive criticisms are a very, very positive thing, you know. They wouldn't be called positive criticisms otherwise, would they? And I'm only paraphrasing what I said. I wouldn't have said anything anywhere near as nasty as what I just claimed to have said. But the amount of people, white knights, who are trying to get her PVC knickers off, telling me, I'd like to see you do better. Where's your drumming video then, mate? You know, and the implication is you've got to be proficient in that discipline to spot when somebody's not so good at it. You know, and the implication is you need to be proficient in any kind of discipline that you've got an opinion on other person's skill at. You've got to be proficient in it yourself to have a valid reason to criticise. But surely, to the same token, you should need to be proficient in that to spot somebody who can do it well. People just ruin their own argument with their own lack of forethought or insight and just say shit that they think, you know, I hear people say stuff so regularly online, I think, please don't say it again. And sure enough, they do, even in a trivial way, like you see compilations of people caught farting on Ring doorbells, and you can guarantee that there will be at least 20 or 30 people in a video that's had a few hundred hits, and they will say, that's going to itch when it dries. And I think, do you really think that you're the first person to have said that? Because, you know, the obvious intention is to make people laugh. But someone has always said it at least 20 times prior to them and 20 times after them on each and every one of those videos.
They're a bunch of hypocrites too. An event that talks about open borders, yet it's got a fence round it that a US Supermax prison would be proud of.
And that argument that I relentlessly hear from the right wing about the fence around the Glastonbury Festival. The whole place used to be pretty much a free-for-all right into the late 90s. There was a fence there of sorts, but a vast percentage of people could just get over the fence, and the management turned a blind eye to it because they didn't care. Wanted as many people in who could just enjoy the festival for what it was. Everybody who's going to pay had paid. Every ticket was sold, and it really didn't matter that extra amount of people who were there. And the authorities wouldn't grant the festival licence unless they put up a massive, impenetrable fence with sniper towers on it. I don't think the sniper towers are actually occupied by active shooters, but, you know, they've got watchtowers on them. And that was from a very right-wing institution like the government, who forced a rule into place. You either play ball and put a fence up that is impenetrable and don't allow other people in, or you won't get a licence for the legitimate people who have bought tickets. Every fucking argument that people come out with online is just a pile of shit generally.
Free, free! Free, free! Free, free! Alright, but have you heard this one though? Death, death to the IDF! Death, death to the IDF! Death, death to the IDF!
And there we have it, the left wing being complete scumbags as well. What bothers me about situations like that, hearing somebody actively chanting a battle cry of murder and mayhem, no matter who it's directed at. What's going on? There are people in this country being put inside for saying things like that on social media in relative seclusion of their own friends seeing it, and that's about it. But somebody who's rich and famous in a band or whatever, I think the guy's a rap artist. How come he's not afforded the same instant arrest and then put inside for inciting such violence and hatred? You know, I don't think anybody should be put inside for what they say unless it is a direct threat to to an individual. And I would argue that it's not even an argument. What that guy said is a whole lot worse than someone who's got maybe 20, 30 friends who see their material on Facebook making a comment that's offensive about asylum seekers or whatever, you know. It's just no fucking, there's a two-tier system for everything in this country at the moment. Literally everything. Well, no, not literally, I've just misused the word literally. Got to hold myself to account on that one.